let's have a conversation about enjoying your money. Now, this is one of the ways that I enjoy my money. Let me go ahead and tell you about it. It's a 2022 Porsche 911 Turbo S convertible. Every time I get behind the wheel, I smile. Every time I let down the convertible top and I'm just driving and the wind is blowing, it's just exciting. And oh man, when I press the accelerator, one day I was in some traffic and this guy, because for some reason people feel that I want to race. And this guy kind of zoomed up next to me, looked over me, and I was like, left him in the dust. I'm not going to tell you how fast I was going because it was illegal, but it was going very, very fast. And let me tell you the story of how I got that. 2017, I was on Peachtree Industrial and I went by Perimeter Porsche and there was this beautiful blue 911. And it was just such a captivating car. It pulled me over and I went and looked at it and I test drove it and all this other stuff. And I said, I'm gonna get me one of those. But I didn't want to finance it. And that in 2017, I would have had to finance it. So what I did is I made my business better. 2018, 2019, 2020, I got my first Porsche and I paid cash for it. Now, where am I going with this? Because this isn't about me. This is personal capital. This is about you. You should work hard. You should manage your money correctly. But there should be a window where you get to enjoy your money before you're old and decrepit and walking with a cane. One of my favorite things to do is listen to the Dave Ramsey Show. And there's a number of people who've been listening to Dave for many, many years, and they have followed his steps, and they have become millionaires. Through some shape, fashion, or form, they become millionaires. But here's the problem. Now, I have this term that's called pathologically cheap. And it's a mental condition where you have money, you can enjoy money, but for some reason, you cannot spend money. You just can't do it. It's just, you will sit there and you will come up with all kinds of excuses and reasons and rhymes and things of why you cannot enjoy that money. It is a mental condition. And I was listening to Dave Ramsey and this couple called in and they have a net worth of $4.5 million. And they can't even go out for a steak dinner. Once again, this is personal capital where we push you, we lead you, we educate you on how to make more money so you can have a better life. And let me go ahead and explain some stuff. At one point in my life, I was somewhat pathologically cheap. I didn't become cheap because I had been scrimping and saving and no. I was in the storage auction business. And literally, you could spend $10 to $100 and get yourself a completely brand new wardrobe. You want to start a business, you want to set up a holding company, an operating company, you want to get yourself some business credit, you want to learn how to run a business, you want to start your first online business. If you want to do that, and congratulations to you for being a person that wants more out of life, for being that person that's ready to sit down, do the work so your future can be brighter. I got some for you. Go below and enter into the Corporate Citizen Playbook where we teach you all of that plus a lot more. Because you are not a normal, regular person. You want more out of life. You want to do more. You want to be more. You want to have more. And congratulations to you. So this link is below. Go ahead and check out this video. And then go ahead and enroll in the Corporate Citizen Playbook where I teach you some things that you cannot Google. Can't Google it. Can't Google it at all. I remember I was at the U-Haul storage facility off 85 North over here. And I bought this unit for $100. And it was just full of boxes. And the boxes were full of clothes. And the clothes were Polo, Ralph Lauren, boss. This guy was a serious clothes horse. He had some of the nicest stuff, some of the nicest leather jackets, and his clothes fit me, and he wore a size 12 shoe. So I got a completely fresh and brand new wardrobe for $100. So I became conditioned to be cheap because it was a part of my functionality of being in the storage auction business. I've literally changed out the furniture in my house. I can't even count how many times. New dining room tables, I'll take the dining room table that was in there, put it in the store, sell it. So me being cheap became a function of me being in the storage auction business. Now, money will change you. I will say some of you. There are some of you who are pathologically cheap, and I'll say it. I think there's something wrong with you from a mental standpoint. But my first year, 2012, that was the first time in my life that I saw life-changing money cross my hands. And I was still fresh from the storage auction days, so I was still somewhat cheap. And I went into a store and I saw this fancy shirt, and I wanted this shirt, and the shirt was like $110. And I struggled to buy that shirt because I walked around the store a few times, and I came back, and I finally picked up the shirt, went to the check out, and bought the shirt. It was a struggle for me because I was so used to being cheap. And this is, once again, this is education for you guys, because I know you guys are going to work hard. You're going to do things you need to do. You're going to be a future millionaire. That's in your DNA. And do not become cheap, because here's something else. And this is something I have noticed. I have a wide array of friends, and some of my friends are pathologically cheap, even though they're rich. I have a friend who's worth maybe 15, 20 million, clips coupons, drives a Honda. Now his house, let me tell you a story about his house. His wife was the reason they got that house, because they had the house for a while, because he's been rich for quite some time. And they went and saw the house, they looked at it, and he thought the house was too expensive, and he said no. And the wife looked at him, and she didn't say anything, but she was pissed. And they were driving home, and she didn't say nothing. And then when she got home, she lost it. She went off. She said, "We can afford that house. You could pay cash. If we don't get that house, I'm out of here, because you're cheap, you're mean, and there's something wrong with you, because we could easily get that house. We could easily get that house. And the fact that you're saying no, that means you don't want us to be happy." And she got mad and went up the stairs. And then the next morning he woke up and he was trying to be nice to her, and she was still pissed. And a week later, she moved out. And he was kind of beside himself, because, you know, he loved this woman, and he just like, so guess what? He went ahead and he bought the house. Then he went ahead and picked her up and said, "Let's go move into our new house." And that's the reason that he had that house, because she would not put up with him being cheap when she knew from a financial standpoint that they easily pay cash for the house and be fine. You know, and that's the reason they have that house. But otherwise, you would see him in the street, you would think this guy's a bum. And there's many people who feel like, there was an article about Mark Zuckerberg shopping in Costco, as if that's the reason that he's a billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg could spend $1 million a day and never go broke. So there are many people who, there's a lot of people who preach this being discreet with your wealth, not showing off, not being flashy. And if that's who you are as a person, because we're all different, but if that's who you are as a person, and you come across a lot of wealth, and you don't want a fancy car, you don't want a big house, that's fine. That's fine. But let me tell you something. This man, because of his cheapness, almost lost the love of his life, because he was being cheap. And typically, you know, and because of her, because anytime she wants some, it happens, because she's not always asking her, you know, and she's like, "Let's go to Italy." Because once again, she knew what the finances was. She knew that it could easily go to Italy. And he kind of like, and I remember we were out to dinner and she's like, let's go to Italy. And he started doing this thing and he's like, that's going to be really expensive. And then she's like, looked at him. He said, okay. He didn't play with her. And, they went to Italy and they came back and he was actually happy that they went because he enjoyed himself. But if it wasn't for her, he would have never went to Italy. He would have never bought this big, beautiful house. He never would have did it because he was cheap. And I'm telling you, you don't want to be like that. Once again, manage your money correctly. Allocate your bank accounts correctly. Like, once again, this year, this is August. I did buy this. I spent $50,000 on that. I bought that January. And other than that, I'm not spent any money because essentially most of the time I manage my money quite well. I don't spend money. I don't blow money. At the moment, I have nothing on my personal credit report except a car loan, which started off at $145,000 last October. Now it's down to $25,000. And I'm going to get that car paid off by October, maybe sooner. So what I'm saying is you should make money, manage money, have the right level of discipline, but you should also know when to enjoy money. When I go on vacation, I'm on vacation. If I want to order room service, I don't care if it's expensive, I'm on vacation. I will order room service. If I see something in the hotel gift shop, I will buy it. If I see some snacks or some souvenirs or something nice and I'm on vacation, I'm going to buy it. Because here's the thing. You can't take the money with you. There's no U-Haul behind a hearse that's like taking your belongings with you to the next life. Enjoy your money. Do not be a Frankenstein of money like this couple. And her name is Mindy, and she's on Bigger Pockets podcast. Mindy Jensen, I think that's her name. And you're sitting here working hard, manage your money correctly. Then you get to the point where you have a sizable amount of money where you can enjoy your life, live life the way that you want to. But because you're cheap, you cannot do it without stressing out, without losing your mind. Do not be that person. Work hard, build your business, but also enjoy your money. Enjoy your wealth. This is why I drive a Porsche. This is why I'm wearing the $50,000 watch. This is why I live where I live. I enjoy the money. Do not be pathologically cheap. Like I hear some stuff, and we're about to get into some deeper stuff. I was listening to a podcast, and he said most of the millionaires in America are in the mode of stealth wealth, right? You think they're living stealth wealth because they choose to? Let me give you the breakdown. And this is something I talked about. There's a lot of millionaires in America, but the vast majority of these millionaires are asset-based millionaires, meaning that maybe their money's tied up in their house, money's tied up in the stock market, and for them to use that money, they would have to sell the house, they have to sell the stock, and that would dramatically lower their net worth. The average millionaire in America, who's a millionaire because of his house, millionaire because of their 401k, cannot afford to buy my car, even though on paper they're worth $1 million. So here at Personal Capital, we want to make you an above average millionaire. We want to make you the kind of person who is let's call it the elite status millionaire. You have a net worth of $5 million and your assets, and let's just go ahead and do the math. Let's say you have assets worth $5 million and your assets give you a 10% return on your money, which is $500,000 a year. That's enough money for you to live quite well in New York, California. You can live anywhere in the world and you can live quite freely. If you have assets of $5 million, and here's the thing, you want to produce cash producing assets. I have a stock portfolio. It's very small because I don't put a lot of money into it. But most of my assets that I cherish are income producing assets. And this is a lesson I learned a long, long time ago when I was a salesperson. I wasn't even rich. I had a high paid sales job that enabled me to go out and pay cash for a brand new BMW. So it's about cash flow. And once you have enough cash flow, there are people out there who have a lot of cash flow. Let's say you have a small business and you do $250,000 a year positive net worth. That's your net worth. That's your net cash flow. So you're going to pay probably, I'm going to say 60 to 70,000 in taxes, which is going to give you leftover capital of $190,000. Do you understand that if you were in that position that you could do things that people who are on paper, who are wealthier than you are, cannot do because they don't have the cash flow? Just watch. I went ahead and bought it on my American Express card. And as soon as the bill came in, I paid it off. There are many folks who are millionaires on paper who could not do this. They could not do it. And I'm going somewhere, so stick with me. You got people who are working on this mindset of getting wealthy and being cheap. I feel that is the wrong path. If you're going to be wealthy, you need to enjoy your money. You need to enjoy life. You need to have fun. And here's the secret. If you can develop an economic engine, something that produces cash flow and significant cash flow, then because like this is how I do it. I don't just change my lifestyle. Like my cash flow goes way up. I don't make an instantaneous lifestyle change. I'll look and I'll see what I do the next year. And then the third year, if it's looking good, then this is when I would make the lifestyle change. It took me a minute to get to the Porsche. It took me a minute to get here. It took me a minute to buy $50,000 watches. It took me a minute to get there because I had to make sure that the cash flow was on point, because luxuries once tasted become necessities. And once again, do not be this cheap person, because honestly, just my opinion, if you're going to be really cheap with your money, you're probably going to be cheap with your love. Cheap love. It's no good for anybody. So hopefully you guys heard me. Work hard, build your business, become that future millionaire that I know you can, and enjoy yourself and have fun. Live life. So to help you with that, go below and get into the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where I teach you how to set up a holding company, teach you how to set up an operating company, teach you how to do business credit, teach you how to set up your first business, and teach you a whole lot more. You got one and done, or you can get on a payment plan. Go below, check out what I have to say about the Corporate Citizen Playbook, and I will see you guys in the next video.